Meanwhile, we set the stage for our next keynote session on Biodiversity Act. I would like to give you a brief about all the dignitaries joining us on the stage for this particular session. This keynote session on Biodiversity Act, Implications and Compliance for Agribusiness will be chaired by Mr. Sameer Pathare, our Secretary AIM Association and also founder and CEO, Swaroop Agrochemical Industries. Also, as we all know, he has 31 years experience in the industry focusing on biostimulants. They have 3 patented products under the banner and 28 organic certified products. And they also work pan-India and internationally. Our first speaker for this keynote session will be Dr. Suhas Buddhe. Dr. Suhas Buddhe, he's a visionary entrepreneur and PhD in environmental science with over 23 years of leadership as a managing director of BioCare India Private Limited, driving sustainable innovations and eco-friendly solutions in agriculture. Under his guidance, the company has scaled to $7 million USD revenue, developed 40 plus products and earned multiple prestigious awards, including the Golden Peacock for Eco-Innovation, a mentor to 8 plus startups and active member of CII Climate Change Council. Dr. Buddhe is deeply committed to climate action, carbon credit projects, and empowering the next generation of green business. With this, I would like to request both the speakers, including Dr. Pravir Deshmukh, Dr. Suhas Buddhe, and our chairperson, Mr. Sameer Pathare, to kindly join us on the stage. And we will be starting the keynote session with Dr. Suhas Buddhe. Requesting our chairperson to kindly give an overview about the keynote session, and then we can start with the first speaker on the dais.
Good morning, all. As you know, biodiversity is nothing but the variety of life that is there on the earth, like animals, plants, microorganisms, fungi. So that is the biodiversity, and now the act was there, Biodiversity Act 2002, and government is trying to protect that particular biodiversity which is present, so that there should be a balance, ecological balance, also the sustainable use of these natural resources which are present on the earth. So this the act which is there from 2002, but we never knew about it pertaining to our industry, like agri-input industries. It was there for other industries, and people were aware of it. Even just now we saw a patent in which we have used seaweed extract as one of the component. At that time, we got a notice from Biodiversity Act that please explain us how we are using it and what is the process and all. That time we knew that yes, this Biodiversity Act is there and we have to look into this aspect as well. So to further enlighten us with this biodiversity and what is the act and how it is now coming closer to us and what we have to be prepared in order to tackle it, or in order to save whatever the notices and everything has been shoot out already. So let us understand from the experts that what is this act and how we are going to look at it or face it. So over to you, Suhas.
So Biostimulant Act के बाद और एक act industry पे आ गया ऐसा लग रहा है. But मैं प्रवीर के साथ पिछले 10 साल से बायोडाइवर्सिटी के ऊपर काम कर रहे हैं. IBBI is an association hosted at CII. It has been hosted by Ministry of Environment and Forest in CII. And Pravir has been working on biodiversity since last 10 years. So, friends, I want to explain you what biodiversity, ये कैसे आया biodiversity. So, actually मैं इसलिए भी ये example दे रहा हूँ because Biodiversity Act आते वक्त ये act इस particular चीज़ के लिए लाया गया था, and now they are trying to cut and paste it to the several other industries. जैसे भी आयुर्वेदिक मेडिसिन का प्रचार बहुत हो गया, तो you could see that there are a lot of herbs which are available in the forest, like shatavari, ashwagandha, vidarika, and other herbs. And जब उसका commercial utilization शुरू हो गया, तो forest से वो सब species लुप्त होने लगे. So because we have ratified the act, नायोगा प्रोटोकॉल हमने करने के कारण हम लोगों को कन्वेंशन ऑफ बायोलॉजिकल डाइवर्सिटी में हमको बायोडाइवर्सिटी एक्ट लाना पड़ा। तो बायोडाइवर्सिटी एक्ट इसलिए लाया गया कि ये जो हर्ब्स जो जंगल में है वो अगर आप कमर्शियली यूज़ कर रहे हैं तो आप आइदर रॉ मटेरियल पे 5% या 3% दे दीजिएगा, या तो फिनिश प्रोडक्ट पे आज 0.5% सेस बायोडाइवर्सिटी एक्ट को दे दीजिएगा। बायोडाइवर्सिटी अथॉरिटी जो है, बायोडाइवर्सिटी बोर्ड जो है, वो नेशनल बायोडाइवर्सिटी अथॉरिटी है जो चेन्नई में बैठती है, और स्टेट में हर जगह पे बोर्ड है। महाराष्ट्र का बोर्ड नागपुर में है, महाराष्ट्र बायोडाइवर्सिटी बोर्ड। सो ये बायोडाइवर्सिटी बोर्ड ने करना क्या है कि बायोडाइवर्सिटी बोर्ड ने आपसे जो सेस लेना है उसका 10% मैक्सिमम दे कैन कीप फॉर देयर ओन मैनेजमेंट, एंड 90% हैज़ टू गो from where you have told them. Say suppose I am buying neem from a particular, say Chandrapur, तो मैं चंद्रपुर के अगर कोई ग्राम पंचायत से नीम ले रहा हूँ तो ग्राम पंचायत लेवल में बायोडाइवर्सिटी रजिस्टर्ड मेंटेन हुए हैं, और वो जो सेस जमा हुआ है आपका, वो सेस का 90% पैसा वो ग्राम पंचायत को जाएगा, और ग्राम पंचायत वो पर्टिकुलर से नीम या शतावरी के संवर्धन के लिए उसके लिए प्लांटेशन करने के लिए वो पैसा यूज़ करेगा। ये एक्ट इस तरह से है। अब इनिशियली जब 10 साल से काम शुरू किए तो ध्यान में आ गया कि बायोडाइवर्सिटी रजिस्टर ही नहीं बने हैं, पर महाराष्ट्र में और बाकी देश में भी काफ़ी सारे लोगों ने अब इस पे बहुत काम कर चुके हैं, और एक बायोडाइवर्सिटी रजिस्टर्ड अभी मेंटेन है। अब हमारा एक सवाल आता है कि फिर ये बायोडाइवर्सिटी एक्ट हमारे एग्रो इंडस्ट्री को कैसे इम्पैक्ट कर रहा है। तो अगर आप डेफिनेशन देखेंगे बायोडाइवर्सिटी का, तो प्लांट, एनिमल एंड माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिज्म। कल ही हम लोग फॉर्चुनेटली आई कुड मीट द मेंबर सेक्रेटरी बायोडाइवर्सिटी एक्ट मिस्टर डॉक्टर बालाजी इन मुंबई, एंड आई वाज डिस्कसिंग विथ हिम कि सर हम तो बायो फर्टिलाइज़र हम बनाते हैं, तो बायो फर्टिलाइज़र तो हम एक सेल लेते हैं टेस्ट ट्यूब में और उसको मल्टीप्लिकेशन करके तो हम फिर से सॉइल में डाल रहे हैं, तो हम तो बायोडाइवर्सिटी कंज्यूम नहीं कर रहे, हम तो प्रो बायोडाइवर्सिटी बिजनेसेस हैं। तो उनका कहना ऐसा निकला कि जो भी एनवायरमेंटल फ्रेंडली बिजनेसेस है वी में गो फॉर अ लोअर टैरिफ फॉर देम, बट दे आर नॉट रेडी। मैंने कल का मेरा जो डिस्कशन हुआ उससे मैं चाह रहा हूँ कि वो लोग बज नहीं कर रहे, दे आर नॉट ट्राइंग टू, मैंने आई वॉज थिंकिंग प्रीवियसली दैट कैन वी एग्जम्प्ट द बायो फर्टिलाइजर इंडस्ट्री from the Biodiversity Act. So it seems, according to the present leadership there, that they may go for a lower tariff, but they will not completely go away with this. So this is similarly with the humic acids and amino acids. And I was just checking, because a few of our exporters were also talking before this meeting. अब हमारे यहाँ ह्यूमिक एसिड हम लोग इंपोर्ट करते हैं, तो सवाल ऐसा है कि ह्यूमिक एसिड में बायोडाइवर्सिटी लगेगा क्या? तो ह्यूमिक एसिड, अमीनो एसिड पे बायोडाइवर्सिटी एक्ट लगेगा। अब इंपोर्ट जो हम करते हैं उस पे नहीं लगेगा, पर अगर चाइना ने नायोगा प्रोटोकॉल अगर दिया हुआ है तो पोर्ट पे आपको वो जो कंट्री का एबीएस का है, एबीएस इज द एक्सेस बेनिफिट शेयरिंग, जिसको एक्सेस बेनिफिट यानी आप कोई बायोलॉजिकल डाइवर्सिटी एक्सेस कर रहे हैं तो उसका बेनिफिट शेयरिंग आपने करना चाहिए कम्युनिटी के साथ, ये उसका मतलब है। तो अभी प्रवीर के साथ वही डिस्कस कर रहे थे हम कि we could see that China is also ratified the treaty. So हो सकता है कि आज नहीं पर कल बायोडाइवर्सिटी एक्ट के अंदर पोर्ट में आपको वहाँ का एबीएस सर्टिफिकेट मांगा जाएगा। अगर वो वहाँ का एबीएस सर्टिफिकेट आप नहीं देंगे तो हो सकता है कि आपको यहाँ का स्टेट बायोडाइवर्सिटी एक्ट ऐसा बोले कि बिकॉज द कंट्री हैज नॉट पेड द एबीएस यू हैव टू पे इट हियर। सो आई डोंट सी, काफ़ी सब सवाल मेरे दोस्त लोग भी है, कुछ सवाल पूछते कि सर हमको नोटिस नहीं आया तो हमने बायोडाइवर्सिटी देना क्या? एक्ट 2002 से है, कुछ स्टेट में, क्योंकि स्टेट बायोडाइवर्सिटी बोर्ड अलग से काम करता है इंडिपेंडेंट ऑफ द नेशनल बायोडाइवर्सिटी एक्ट अथॉरिटी, कुछ जगह पे 2002 से भी नोटिस दिए गए हैं क्योंकि एक्ट 2002 से आया है, पर एबीएस, क्योंकि एबीएस 2014 से आया हुआ है तो कुछ जगह से 2014 से एबीएस के नोटिस आ रहे हैं, विच इज़ ऑल्सो 10 years। और अभी नया एबीएस का डिस्कशन चल रहा है, तो आई थिंक इस साल नया एबीएस का भी आएगा। तो हम लोग भी ये आईबीबीआई के तरफ से ये प्रमोट कर रहे हैं कि इस साल से अगर आपको सेस लेना भी है तो इस साल से लीजिएगा। एक एसोसिएशन के लिए मेरा सुझाव है कि एक दो वेज है जिसमें हम लोग बायोडाइवर्सिटी से निकल सकते हैं। बहुत सारे कंट्री में जो बायोडाइवर्सिटी एक्ट है, जो इंडिया का ही रिप्लिकेशन है, लाइक ब्राज़ील एंड साउथ अफ्रीका, इसमें उन्होंने MSME को एग्जाम करा हुआ है बायोडाइवर्सिटी एक्ट से. सो कैन वी पुट अ प्रेशर at a right place to exempt the line ministry में अगर बात करा जाए, because agriculture ministry ये कुछ नहीं करेगा, ये ministry of environment forest है, पर हमको जाना पड़ेगा MSME ministry के पास और MSME ministry से pressure देना पड़ेगा, but it's a long shot, but it can be done. So these are few things which we feel that can be done. Then we can negotiate. Ultimately the act says that you have to negotiate. तो इंडिविजुअल हो जाता है, यानी अगर कोई कंपनी जैसे स्वरूप बायोटेक है, इनकी बात करता हूँ, तो इन्होंने अगर पेटेंट और इसमें खर्चा किया हुआ है या कोई यूनिवर्सिटी से इन्होंने कुछ टाई अप करके यूनिवर्सिटी को अगर कुछ पेमेंट्स कर रहे हैं, तो बायोडाइवर्सिटी एक्ट में 2-3 प्रकार से आप पेमेंट कर सकते हैं. ऐसा नहीं कि सिर्फ आपको सेस ही देना है, आप निगोशिएट भी कर सकते हैं. नॉन मॉनेटरी कंपोनेंट भी उसमें है. तो जो कंपोनेंट ये लोग यूनिवर्सिटी को दे रहे हैं रिसर्च करने के लिए, हो सकता है कि वो कंपोनेंट भी शायद, आई थिंक प्रवीर कैन पुट मोर लाइट ऑन दिस, ही इज एक्चुअली एक्सपर्ट इन दिस फील्ड. एंड सो ये ऐसे बहुत सारा चीज़ें हैं. मैं इसलिए भी, बिकॉज वी हैव बीन वर्किंग सिंस लास्ट 10 years in this sector, I felt that we must help the industries to mainstream themselves into Biodiversity Act. And IBBI का हमारा one of the major aim भी ये है कि how to see even opportunities in the Biodiversity Act as such. So maybe I would like to take few questions post Pravir's talk on this. And thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Our next speaker, Dr. Pravir Deshmukh, is a senior counselor at Confederation of Indian Industry, CII, ITC Center of Excellence for Sustainable Development, which is CESD. Dr. Pravir Deshmukh, he has done PhD in botany and is a seasoned environmental expert with over 18 years of experience in biodiversity, climate change, and ecosystem management. As a senior counselor at CII, which is the Center of Excellence for Sustainable Development, he leads the India Business and Biodiversity Initiative and drives nature-based solutions for businesses addressing climate risks. With a strong background in EIA, ecological surveys, and international policy advocacy, he represents Indian businesses at global platforms like UNCBD and UNFCCC. Dr. Deshmukh is a recognized voice in mainstreaming biodiversity in business strategy and mentoring industries toward net positive impact goals. So requesting sir to kindly join us on the dais. Over to you, sir.
Good morning all, and thanks for inviting. And I think this is also a platform. I think that's why the ministry has created the platform which we called as a India Business and Biodiversity Initiative. And I think the platform is more focusing on that how biodiversity can be a mainstream in a business sectors. And it's not with an objective that it will be an additional burden for you, but again how it can be looked at as an opportunity. Because lots of transition is happening. So we know what is happening in climate change, we know what is happening in water and all these things. So biodiversity is also a critical part. And with that objective, this platform has initiated by ministry, and you can see the logo there. This is the platform. It is a totally neutral platform, so anybody want to join, it is open. I will not ask you that are you a CII member or not. Anybody can join. Any business can join this platform. So that's an objective. And again, objective is again how I can help you in more to understand what is the risk and opportunity also. So not only the risk but also an opportunity. So I think that what I will be speaking today. And also I just want to say that I am also from Maharashtra. I am also from a farming background. I do supported my father during my graduation days and post-graduation for farming. I do have lots of orange orchids in Varud. So I understand what is the challenges you face and the farmers facing. But this is also an opportunity perspective that how better we can deliver our services, how better product can be built in. And again, how better product we can go for an export market. So again, rather than only thinking that this Biodiversity Act is limiting me, no, it is also creating an opportunity for you to sell the products which is unique for India, which might have a good opportunities in African countries where we have a similar weather conditions and all these things. So that is also an opportunity it provides to the businesses. So first of all, this is a biodiversity definition. I hope it is visible for all of you, or the chairs are making issues. No. Okay. Yeah. So this is a global definition which is accepted by all 194 countries, including China, Brazil, and some other countries also, and even India. Again, very specifically, you can see, and I have highlighted the part that within species, between species, and ecosystems. So whatever we are using, so we are saying that in a mango there are multiple varieties. That is also a part of this act. Then there are different species, so microorganisms, or fruits, trees, and everything, it is also part of it. And the third and very important is the ecosystem. So when we talk about the tiger reserves or river or any wetlands or pond, lake, and all these things, they are part of also a biodiversity. Okay? So biodiversity is not only tiger, animal, or leopards and all these things, which is a previous assumption, but it is including all, so microorganism. Every living thing is a part of this things. And again, why the Nagoya Protocol requirement has come. So this is the Nagoya Protocol. It comes under as a part of the UN Convention on Biological Diversity, where India is also part. Why the requirement has come? I think you know there are lots of IPR registration. Like in US, they are trying to register IPR for turmeric because for its medicinal values. And at that time, there are lots of inputs has been provided from government India and different countries that what will happen about the biological resources or traditional knowledge with the country. If there are some of the countries who are resources and they can register it, and then they are selling it back to that, you have to pay me this much amounts and all these things. So there are challenges that because the sovereign right of that biological resources or that traditional knowledge is the ownership of that specific country. So how to keep that sovereign right? And that's why the Nagoya Protocol has come in place, that whenever this type of transition is happening, it should happen through Nagoya Protocol. And if there are commercial aspect is coming, how we can share that benefit back to that resource conservations. So again, the amount which NBA is asking or State Biodiversity Board is asking you, it is not a tax. It is not go into the bucket of GST or anything. It is going back to for conserving that specific species, or again the traditional knowledge around that thing. Because again, what will happen that, for example, let's take an example that in Ayurveda, we are extracting something from forest. Companies build our process on it, that I have modified my process, I know this product I can produce for next 50 years, and suddenly the raw material is not available in the forest. Then what will happen? All this will go as a zero. Whatever investment the company has done, it will become a zero suddenly because the raw material is not available. So this act is also helping you to ensure that your supply chain is sustainable. You are working with your supply chain. So again, with that perspective, this is an opportunity this act is providing. Another part is the China and almost 142 countries has rectified this thing. At present, every country is implementing this on their own within the country. But again, what will happen in the future, because I recently a part of this Nagoya Protocol workshop on a ABS clearing house, which is a global house, where they are now discussing that if somebody is exporting from China to India, then how to trade, how to trace that thing. It has been followed at a China level, it has been followed at a India level. Then they are looking for a tracing document for it, like a barcode or a similar type of systems, where China will upload that seaweed has collected from China. The company, whosoever the trader or anything, anybody has paid or actually invested the ABS requirement as per the China regulation requirement, and then it is coming to India. And that certificate will be checked at the customs. It might be sea, it might be air, or wherever you are exporting. And then that information will be available on the portal, that a Nagoya Protocol portal. As soon as the person select the barcode, the information is available, and you didn't have to pay the ABS for that product within India. So as per our regulation, if you are exporting any biological resources, which is not an Indian biological resources, you didn't have to pay the ABS in India, but they will ask you a certificate for payment of ABS in that country, if it is a Nagoya Protocol country. And I think all 142 countries, they are part of this, and mostly we are exporting from them. And there are small countries Mostly they didn't have that much type of resource and all these things. Fortunately, US is not part of this convention. So that, I think now they're not part of any convention also. So again, to implement this act or this regulations or the commitment, then India has developed our own act. So this Biological Diversity Act 203 is amendment one, but it is originally developed in 2002. At that time, again, because that time I am also learning, so at the time I'm doing my MSc. I didn't know this type of act is there, but I know that there is an act. But again, how it is applicable, how the consultation happens. At that time, not a single business has provided inputs on this Biological Diversity Act while developing or in a public consultations. Then slowly when they started that it is having a more implications to the business sectors who are using that resources, then they started understanding that there are challenges, there are regulation issues and all these things. Then they develop to manage that type of issues. They then in 2014 they have come up with a access benefit sharing guidelines, or it's a regulation to the, and where they have clearly identified that what will be the requirement for access benefit sharing, who will be providing, at what phase you can provide, and how it can be provided to you. So this is again a recently launch. So this is last year ministry has launched this our National Biodiversity Strategy and Action Plan. ABS is also a part of this action plan also. So again, how this act is being implemented. So first is at a national level. So this is like a similar system. At a national level, the Biodiversity Act is there. Then there is a comes under the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, who is actually the owner of Biodiversity Act. Then they have given power to National Biodiversity Authority to implement the Biodiversity Act on ground. National Biodiversity Authority is based in the Chennai. And again, if you are an international company, then you have to go to the National Biodiversity Authority for any clearances or any access benefit sharing or undertaking research and all these things. If you are going for IPR registration, if it is an Indian company or international company, you still have to go to NBA. But for ABS benefit sharing, if it is an Indian company, then respective state is the boundary who will give you a notices, who will help you in actually assessing what is the ABS requirements and then paying them, and then they will ensure that it has been gone back to the villages where you are sourcing the products. So again, very important part and very critical part of this act, and maybe a uniqueness of this act is again the Biodiversity Management Committee, which is as established at every Gram Panchayat level. So that's their role to conserve that village biodiversity. So it might be trees, it might be animals, it might be their traditional knowledge also. So they are the implementation body. And again, this is also a flow. I think that's why when you are paying access benefit sharing, very important part as State Biodiversity Board or NBA will ask that from where you are sourcing. Did you know that Gram Panchayat? Because they have to plow back that money to that specific Gram Panchayat. So for example, if the seaweed is there, or any mycorrhizas and all these things, you have done a sampling in specific village, and you have in a consultation with the state, local biodiversity management committee, you can directly mention that this is a biodiversity committee, we have paid them this much amount for doing the samples, and this is this thing, and because of that I am getting this much benefits. Then whatever you pay, 90% will go to that BMC for conserving or restorations or again plantations and multiple aspects. So BMC can prioritize how to use that money, but it will be implemented, used by the BMC only. So it is not like, I think how many of you know that there was a carbon cess on coal in the past before GST? There is 400 rupees per ton of carbon cess is charged. So it is actually charged as an environmental cess, but that fund is collected to the Ministry of Finance. And if you see the analysis, at present that cess is not there because GST and other things. But again, whatever the amount has collected under that fund, only hardly less than 10% has gone for the environmental conservations. And that fund is used for multiple areas. So it is, some of the time if you see the data, most of that fund utilized to give a support to the state for, when the GST has started, that fund been utilized to actually give a support to the states also. So again, that also challenged in a different funds or were assessed on other regulations. But in Biodiversity Act, if you are paying ABS, it will directly go to your stakeholders who are actually giving you a raw material or finished good, mostly the farmers or the collecting organizations. Then under ABS regulations, there are multiple options. Again, every process of this ABS is actually through consultations. It is not one-sided. It is through consultations. You can go meet them, showcase your document, and also showcase that how you want to share that benefit. So that is a consultation way. So first option is, again there are also categories as per the ABS regulation 2014, that if it is a trader, how much, so this is again based on the raw material you are purchasing. So if it is a trader, then he can, there are implication up to 1 to 3%. If you are a manufacturer, then 3 to 5%, and biologics is having high economic value, like red sandalwood, all these things, they have a benchmark that it is a 5%, and that to be given at a source only. So ये वाला जो थर्ड वाला ऑप्शन है, ये और किसी मॉडल में नहीं दिखेगा आपको, सिर्फ ऑप्शन 1 में है. Then again, option 2, which is more focusing on what is the ex-factory sale. So this is an option, because if you didn't know what is the trader is providing, or you didn't know what has happening in the past, then it is, you also have an option that I will also pay on the ex-factory sale, and this is a range. So there are 3 ranges. Again, this is again a mutually decided by the NBA. You can have a discussion, you can showcase the document, how you are providing benefits. So I have gone through the notices which is issued to you. There are only these 2 models has been provided. How many of you have received these 2 models you can see as a part of that notice? Yeah. So there is also a third option, which is called as a benefit sharing option 3, which is based on the monetary benefit or the non-monetary benefit. So this is option, what I have seen in the last 10 years, slowly it has been removed or maybe shadowed over the other things. But this option is available in the Biodiversity Act. You can use it, or you can see some of these indicators, you might be using it directly or indirectly, but you didn't have that type of proper documentations. There might not be a proper agreement with the BMCs or the villages you are acquiring, or institutions you are acquiring these raw materials or the critical parts. So again, for example, if you are working with the farmers, you are training them, then again, if you are giving them an upfront payment, that this product is 100 rupees, because I need this product in the next 2 months, and then I'm giving upfront payment of 50 rupees, and 50 rupees I will pay when I'm taking the finished product. That is also been considered. One-time payment, this can be with a research institute, that if you're doing, they are giving you a product like mycorrhiza or nematodes or anything, then you have given them a one-time payment that I will give you a 1 lakh rupees. The product cost is 50,000 or 5,000 rupees, but I will give you a 1 lakh because it's a business for me, and because of this thing, you can also do more research on it. So that can be a one-time payment, or maybe a milestone payment, that we are doing a joint research and I'm giving you, as soon as you give me a result, these things, then I will give a milestone payment. So that is also an agreement. So this is a monetary benefit sharing. So there is, and I think you can see there are lots of alternative options are available. We can build a proposal on it, and that can be assessed and developed with you. Then another is the non-monetary benefit sharing. So for example, if you are working in the village, and then you are providing them a capacity building, that how to extract that product that will meet your requirement, that will ensure their livelihood has additional funds and available with them. So that can be a way of benefit sharing. Transfer of technologies. So you have built some technologies and then you are transferring to institutions, individuals, or any entities. So that can be a part of benefit sharing. Again, strengthening, capacity developing, or contribution and collaboration with the education institution for doing research and all these things. So this will be considered as a non-monetary benefit sharing. I hope you are doing some of these activities. But again, I think another challenge what I have faced, and again, I have similar challenge with most of these Ayurveda companies, because I'm working with them on this Biodiversity Act, and we try to build some case studies on these things. They didn't have a database for it. So they are sourcing from forest, they know which community they are sourcing, but the funding they are investing back, it is their CSR funding. It is not their business funding. So that cannot be shared here. CSR fund will not be a part of these things. It should come as a part of your benefit or the business benefit or business strategies fund or research fund should be a part of this things. And again, that's the challenge because we didn't document, we didn't manage the documentation, and some of these aspects we have not integrated as a part of that agreement also. So this is what an alternative way we can work on it. Another option, I think there is also good news around it, so there is, because there are lots of this biodiversity related so lots of the crop we trade like rice, wheat, turmeric, spices and all these things. So some of the time that is been also integrated as a part of this thing. So for example, you are building tomato ketchup or you are making a tomato ketchup, it can be a value added product or it can be a additional use, not a traded, and then that is also been cases that State Biodiversity Board had issued notices on it that you have to pay the ABS on it. But then they have developed this normally traded as commodity, and again CII is also a very important part played in this developing this list. So at present there are 421 plant species, because at that time there is no member from your type of organization, so we might have given that inputs also that some of these nematodes or humic acids and can be a part of this list. At that time mostly agriculture, seed sector companies and Ayurveda companies was there, so they have provided inputs. But again, what is happening right now, and again this normally traded as commodities, they are exempted from the act. So if there are any product you are using which is a part of this list, there is no act is not applicable. Then again, what we can do is, again, we can build a list like some of the, for example, seaweed. If it is a normally traded and we can show that documentation that it is normally traded, used as a fertilizer from last traditionally used and all these things, it can be a part of it. Again, what is recently happening, so recently they are developing a new committee or an executive committee which is on a normally traded commodities for marine resources. So that is just recently constituted, and from CII, I will be a part of that committee for the committee, and I then definitely will do lots of consultation on it. So that is also an opportunity that we can add some of the new products also or new resources as a part of this normally traded as commodity, and if these resources come as a part of this list, then it is not applicable to you. Yeah, so that's an also way, but again, to put that document, it is not possible that we just give the name, that seaweed, and it should be integrated. We have to prepare a proper research document on it, that why it should be a part of it, what is been sourcing, how it has been traditionally used in the agriculture sector, how it will be benefiting farmers, what is the impact to the farmers if we go with these systems and all these things. So we have to build a proper case for it. And we have to show that if it is a part of ABS, then it will be a huge impact to the farmer or farming communities or soil health and all these things. So again, we have to build that a proper documentation on it, because what is happening that ministry is ready to accept all these things, but if we are not giving them enough material to put it in their files, because what is happening that someday one person do the RTI and then government has to provide all these documents. So this document will help them in putting that, okay, this is what a background we have received from different members on research articles and all these things, and then that's why we have integrated this as an NTCA list. So that documentation is required. So again, whatever we want to put it here, we have to build a proper strategy on it, we have to build the documentation on it, and then there are chances that it will get accepted. I think I do have talk about some of these challenges which, yes, I am also facing, and I do get continuous inputs from members, and we do lots of policy advocacy on this to the ministry. We recently done a consultation with National Biodiversity Authority on ABS regulation, because the act is modified in 2023. The ABS needs to be modified, so we have provided inputs that what is the modification is required in ABS. That has happened during the end of December, so we are expecting there might be a draft regulation on ABS coming shortly, maybe within 2-3 months. Again, another problem is double taxation. So for example, Suhas sir do talk about that in Brazil, similar law is there, they have adopted their law from the India's Act. But again, what is happening in Brazil that within the supply chain of any biological resources, only one person, if the one person has paid that ABS, then other supply chain didn't have to follow the ABS. It is not applicable to them. But India, what is happening is that when you go, so for example, those who have received the notices, when you go and share the thing, ki this is what product I am using and I am sourcing from these 5 different companies, they will ask you to provide the details of that 5 different companies also. And then they will share a notice to them also that this is the product you have used, and you have to also pay the ABS on the sourcing part or the ex-factory sale also. So that's why it has been, we have written is as a double taxation. That is also, we are pushing that it should be kept at a one level. If within a supply chain, if one person is doing ABS meeting the requirement, then the ABS should be out of their scope. Another example, I think in the morning I am discussing about this value-added product. It is there as a part of these things, but there is no examples available at present with the NBA. Whatever product you go and you say that fertilizer is a value-added product, toothpaste is a value-added product, or any chemical like extracting from turmeric, you are extracting some chemicals and all this thing, it is a value-added product. No, they are not accepting. So there also we need to push very prominently, we need to build what is the value-added product, and also if it is in your regulations, so some of the regulation you are also following for agriculture inputs, if there is a definition of value-added products or similar definition, then that can be pushed here also. So you do have to support me when we're doing policy advocacy, when Dr. Buddhe will be leading this work. You have to help me in what is some of these definitions also for you as a specifically, or give up me examples that this is an example which can be put in forward, and then we can negotiate or do the policy advocacy on it. Again, options for benefit sharing. So again, when the increase in revenue happen, the ABS should go down and all these things. So that also challenges will happen. Again, I'm not sure the ABS will be based on, when you are negotiating, they will ask you for the overall benefit you are acquiring, and again, the specific biological resources may be a 10% or 5%, how that benefit can be shared or how it has been calculated. So that's also a challenge. So again, so there should be a fixed way to calculate the ABS, that it is on the sum of the products or the final products and all these things. So there are, again, more discussions we can do, and there are areas where we can manage these discussions in a much better way. I think I do have covered these things. At present, if you are importing something from outside India, it is, you didn't have to follow the Biodiversity Act, but in next 2-3 years, it will be there. They will check. But again, for example, if you want to export right now from India to Europe or any other countries, they will ask for you this ABS certifications. So that this is also an opportunity, that if you are looking for an options, because again, the Europe is going for a more sustainable farming and all these things. So this is an opportunity for you to go your products and directly sell in the European market, but it needs to be compiled with the Biological Diversity Act. So this is an opportunity part for all of us. So I think that's it from my side, and this is the platform which I am working. So it is ministry in consultation with ministry. Now we are also implementation partner with ministry for the target 15 of the National Biodiversity Strategy and Action Plan. So this is an also opportunity for you. If you join us, that will help me in continuously in touch base view. You can directly raise your concerns, and I think from CII, the ABS work will be led by Dr. Suhas Buddhe, because I think in an industry association, the face is business, and I am only as a secretariat. So I do support, I do build all the document for Suhas sir, and then he is actually taking that consultations with the NBA and some of other business members. You can be a part of that group also. But again, I think I do like you to be a part of this IBBI part. All the details are available on website. It's a free of charge. But again, it's a free of charge, but you have to start reporting on it. So I think that is also a challenge. But again, as a CII or IBBI, we are supporting members on it. So we'll be happy to support you and work with you on these things. But again, this will also ensure that your leadership in the understanding the biodiversity aspect, and that can be communicated to your customers, that this is what is my commitment and this is what directions I'm driving. And that will ensure my I'm meeting the regulator, and this is also part of this thing. So you can see that adopting mechanism for access and benefit sharing. So this is what first time we have added. So that if you are meeting this requirement, you should talk it very properly. So that is also an opportunity for the companies. And all these members, their logos and everything is available on our platform. So anybody can go see who are part of it, what is their commitments and all these things. And we are also taking supports from some of these research organizations, which do help us in understanding, or if you are facing some challenges from some of the product manufacturing, research and all these things. So these institutions also comes on board and support us in doing all these aspects. So I think that's it from my side, but again, happy to discuss more on it. This is a topic I'm working from last 10 years, but I'm still learning lots of new things. And when you work, you will also see there are lots of gaps, opportunities for it, and looking forward for more interactions with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. And we would like to have quickly 1 or 2 questions for our presenters in interest of time. Can we pass on the mic to...
Hello, sir. Thank you for the great presentation you gave. I'm Prasanna Deshpande, Director of Chaitanya Group of Industries. एक छोटासा प्रश्न असा होता की वी मॅन्युफॅक्चर प्रोटीन हायड्रोलायझेट्स, तर आम्हाला पण बायोडायव्हर्सिटी बोर्डकडनं नोटीस आली, मी पण बोर्डाला जाऊन आलो. नॉर्मली ट्रेडेड कमोडिटीजमध्ये त्यांनी भरपूरसे प्रोडक्ट्स मेन्शन केलेले आहेत, जसं सोयाबीन झालं, ग्राउंडनट झालं, व्हीट झालं. तर वेन आय एम युझिंग दीज ॲज रॉ मटेरियल्स अँड हायड्रोलायझिंग देम फर्दर टू मॅन्युफॅक्चर प्रोटीन हायड्रोलायझेट्स, वेदर द ॲक्सेस टू बेनिफिट शेअरिंग इज ॲप्लिकेबल, आणि जर नसेल, इफ इट इज एक्झम्प्टेड, वेदर दे कॅन गिव्ह सच सर्टिफिकेट दॅट द प्रोडक्ट इज एक्झम्प्टेड फ्रॉम ABS.
Any other questions on the similar? Yeah.
Not similar.
Okay. So, so I will reply in English. So as per the 2023 Act, if it is an agriculture source and you have a certificate from the BMC that it is an agriculture source, then it is exempted. But you have to get the certificate from the BMC. Huh? No, raw material is. No.
Traded commodity which is already exempted.
Yeah. If it is an agriculture source, it is exempted, but you have to get a certificate from BMC that it is
And
whatever.
on top of that, we are buying the raw materials from some of the manufacturers who extract oil from the oil seeds and then sell it back to us. So in that case,
Yeah, so it is, as per NTSC and new act, it is exempted. But again, there are challenges to put it into the, we have to raise that awareness that this is what my sourcing and all these things.
so you have to mention the sources of all the raw
We have to
materials
mention
that
the
you
sources, No, then exemption will not be there for you.
use. So then exporting to countries like
Then it is not required, na? So,
so if they are asking for ABS and if they are not issuing it, so it will be a problem. The exports will be stuck.
no. Then you just mention the ABS regulation that this is the certificate is there, and then there is no requirement for it.
On my letterhead, that would be fine.
Yes.
Okay.
This question is related to seaweed. So I am an industrial member in the Interministerial Committee of Fisheries Department. This is headed by Secretary Fisheries. So we had this discussion regarding the seaweed, that how it can be bought under the commodity when there is a cultivated seaweed, because there are two types of seaweed. One is naturally harvested, another one is cultivated. So the ministry is also willing to take some steps and come up with some document, but if there is help from the associations and parties like you to properly frame a requirement that how it can be exempted. So I had a discussion with Joint Secretary also, and he is also willing to help us in this matter. So if the cultivated seaweeds are excluded as a industrial, as an agriculture commodity, as they are already cultivated, that can be a helpful point to. And because then another point is that we are also registered with Biodiversity Act from 2016. We are also paying the duties on from 2016. But there are many ground level issues with civil seaweed procurements, because there are generally from drift, it is unorganized sector. So how to provide the location or the party from when it was purchased. So there are many such issues which are required to be addressed.
So, so I think in a 2023 Act, it is very clear if it is the product is coming from agriculture source and if you have a certifications, it is not applicable. So it's a very clear. Yes, there are challenges, still interpretation challenges is happening, and that we need to push it. The previous speaker, previous question is also that interpretation challenges is still there because the enough capacity building is still not happening at a national biodiversity level and also at the state biodiversity. And also the challenges again, every 3 years there is a person changing. So that's another aspect, and I think we do have given an SOP for the ministry that how the knowledge built by the previous chairman and the member secretary should be continued, and they can give that briefing to the new person who is coming, rather than he is totally coming fresh and then he is having his own interpretations and all these things. So that we are doing. Another thing is, yes, as a part of this newly created, normally traded as commodities, if you can provide that details to me or to your association, and that can come to me or Dr. Buddhe, that will help us in actually doing that negotiation with them. So again, I think problem is that we do discuss, but again, I didn't get that type of documents. When I'm frankly speaking, when we are providing inputs for this amendment document in 2023 or 22, hardly we have received 10 submissions. And then because I am a background of a biodiversity, I work with agriculture, so lots of these things I have added on my own, that this is a challenge, and then I have forcefully asked sir that, will this is perfect or not, we need to modify and all these things. We need a consultations on it, because even they didn't know what is happening in the systems. And then we have to put that thing in a very proper ways, present them, understand them that this is a business which is actually enhancing sustainability. It is also linked with the sustainable farming program of the PMs and all these things. So that then they will take a proper decision on it. Otherwise, it will be like a one-sided one. So we'll go, they say something, we say something, and it is not been into the tractions. So yes, I will be happy to help, and we'll take some more questions, but I think let's others.
Let's move to the felicitations, and I would like to request Mr. Vaibhav Kashikar sir to kindly do the honor. Our Vice Secretary, AIM Association.